Hello, and welcome to the Great Game Debate Podcast, a place where friends come together to talk about video games and our lives. I'll be your host tonight. My name is Wes Bates. No, I know what you're thinking. You're expecting Caden Barathay Lane to be here, but sadly, he couldn't make it this time. He is in the process of moving cross-country with his wife to start a new life. He will return at some point to the show, but he may be absent for the next couple of episodes. So I apologize in advance. You're stuck with me as the host. I know you're disappointed, but please stick with us. We're going to have a great show for you tonight, I promise. With us, as always, the godfather of the debate himself, Mr. Jonah Gomez. Jonah.
Jeez, man, I wouldn't be so disappointed. I'd be kind of excited. We got a change of pace. We got something interesting. We got the man in the closet himself taking the reins once again.
Well, I know why people come to this show, and it's for Caden.
Oh,
primarily, you know, he is America's favorite host. He's declared it himself. So,
well, now's your time to shine, baby.
All right,
bring it.
I'll try not to burn out when I'm shining so hard. Making his third appearance on the show, everybody please welcome back Mr. Brad Russell. Brad, how are you?
Hello, everyone. I'm very well. Thank you for having me. How's everyone doing today?
Pretty good.
Good. We're so happy to have you back, Brad.
I'm stoked to be back now. Caden is an incredible host, but you're doing very well, Wes. I thought I might help you out. I know that every episode you like to bring a bit of random video game trivia to the show. So
yeah, I do. I love video game trivia. Do you have some video game trivia for us?
So I brought a little something for you today. It's I don't know if it's not just video game trivia. It's kind of some nerd stuff going on here. Wes, did you know that the SHH gene that's present in the human body, which is responsible for differentiating cells, responsible for splitting the brain between left and right, and also responsible for us having two eyes, is an abbreviation for Sonic the Hedgehog?
What?
Oh.
You heard this? So there's a scientist. Let's see. I wrote his name down here. I'm sorry. His name is Robert Riddle. He's a postdoctorate, and he discovered the gene that's responsible for these. And the inspiration for the name came from a comic book that his daughter had laying on the coffee table. And the reason why he named it that is because the gene is very spiky.
Interesting. I had not heard this before. I was expecting like video game trivia. I didn't know I was going to get like a science history lesson.
That's awesome.
That's good stuff.
Kind of cool, right?
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Brad.
Yeah, happy to do it.
Before we jump too much farther in the show, Brad, my understanding is you've been doing a little bit of streaming lately. Is that right?
Oh yeah, just a little bit. I've been doing some Pokemon stuff. Nothing major at all. Just having fun with it.
Nice. And folks may or may not know, but you and I have had a little project that we've been working on together.
That's right.
We are doing our very first Let's Play series for Great Game Debate. And Brad is a veteran Persona 5 player. And I am a terrible Persona 5 player. I've had a really hard time getting into that game. And so I asked Brad if he would coach me through it. So we are spending every Wednesday sitting down for a couple of hours and running through Persona 5 together. And Brad is like showing me the light, teaching me his ways.
We're doing fine, Wes. But things are about to get hairy.
I'm looking forward to it. I need more hair in my video games, honestly.
Well, get ready.
Awesome. Yeah, so if you want to check out those videos, head over to YouTube to our The Great Game Debate YouTube page, and you can check out our Let's Play there. But I think it's time to pivot to our extra special guest. You may know him from such podcasts as the 99 Questions podcast. You may have even heard his voice on the Level Zero podcast doing voiceover work. The one, he's a man that needs no introduction, but I'll give him one anyway. The one, the only, Mr. Bob Buel.
Oh my
Bob, welcome to the
gosh.
show.
What an intro. Holy cow. I don't
Welcome,
know
sir.
who else used to host this, but come on, that intro. Good Lord, that's worthy of a lot right there. Thank you so much. I'm very happy to be on. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, Bob. I feel like this has just been like a long time coming having you on the show. We kind of run in a lot of the same circles.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
somehow we've avoided like actually like having you on the show. It's very unfortunate, Bob, but we're really glad to have you here now.
Oh,
So thank you for coming.
hey, thank you for the invite. I'm happy to do it. I love it. I love what you guys are doing over here. So I'm all about it.
Awesome. Well, before we get any farther into the show, I hope you stopped by Memoria and picked up the Excalibur 2, because it's time for the Icebreaker. All right, this is the section of the show where we usually like to interview our guests, find out a little bit more about who they are. Brad, you've been on the show 3 times before. I hope you don't mind if we spend a little bit extra time chatting with Bob in this segment.
Absolutely. Let's get to know Bob.
Yeah, perfect.
Oh boy.
So, Bob, I think you're probably best known for your work on the 99 Questions podcast. Would you mind explaining to everybody a little bit about 99 Questions and what that's all about?
Yeah. It's a podcast I'm very proud of, very happy to be continually making. The basic gist of it is I've created a list of 99 questions, the same 99 questions that I ask to different guests of different levels of fame from different parts of the world, from different in different job categories, basically. People in the gaming world, people in the D&D world, comedians, actors, video game designers. Somehow I got the CEO of College Humor to say yes to me. Like all these folks who just answer the same questions, but obviously in wildly different ways. And I think it's a very fascinating and a very fun little interview show that I do. That if it pulls off anything, it shows that we're all a little bit more alike than we, you know, can maybe see from the outside. But at the same time, we all have such fun experiences. I love hearing everyone's unique stories, throughout that show. And I've got to talk to some amazing people through it. So thank you for giving me a chance to talk about it. I really am very proud of what that show has become. I've almost been doing it for 2 friggin' years.
Holy
cow.
Wow, has it been that long? Oh my goodness.
Episode 50 drops, tomorrow at the time of recording. So yeah, 50, I do it every 2 weeks and I haven't missed one yet, knock on wood. Nice. So 52 would be 2 full years. And yeah, that's
wow.
It doesn't feel that long, but yeah, it's been a lot of
it really
lot
flies
of work there.
when you're doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
but no, that's awesome. And the show is wildly entertaining. I really love the assortment of questions that you ask people on there. And I have to know, like, what was the process for you going through and like, scripting all of the questions how did you decide what to ask people, and how did you come up with some of those questions?
You stole my question, Wes.
I'm sorry.
I'll answer it twice. It's fine. So the process behind coming up with the questions probably took longer than people expect or would expect. It was like a couple of months, basically, of clearly not every day. I wasn't like, going to a cabin in the woods and sitting at a typewriter for hours on end, but like a couple times a week, I would like go to a local coffee shop or something like that, and just kind of on my laptop, just try to come up with a list of as many interesting questions as I could. And then I got to about maybe 120-ish or something like that. And then I was like, okay, what questions can I use for everybody? So like, I don't want to ask a question that's like based around like, when were you the most drunk? Because it's like, yeah, the whole concept in my head was like, if I interview a priest or a porn star, like the same set of questions, I want them all to be able to answer it with the same breadth, You know what I mean?
That's
Like,
that's
an
super
interesting
interesting.
set of criteria there. Priest
Yeah.
or porn star? What's it
yes.
gonna be?
I want them all to feel just as comfortable to answer all of them.
Nice.
So there was definitely an editing process of chopping down ones that didn't quite fit or didn't quite fit the tone of the show. Because again, it's not, I'm not Wolf Blitzer there. I'm not like like trying to, where were you on the evening of September 1996 or something like that. It's just, I just, I want to have a conversation with them. So the general idea of them was, as many open-based questions that will hopefully, in a perfect world, lead to a good story. And I try to include as many of those as possible. The order of it also took me far too long to figure out because I'm like, all right, it seems like it's kind of ramshackled together, but it again took a long time of like, well, if I start with like, when was the last time you cried? Like, I'm probably not going to get that out of the gate. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
But if I
Yeah. You
sneak that in
gotta
at like 93 or something like that, it's like, I think I've built up enough of a rapport through the rest of the
Yeah.
interview that I can get a solid answer out of that without ruining the momentum of what
Mhm.
we've just done here.
Yeah, that's solid strategy right there.
Yeah, so I start with the ones that are like, what's the best gift you got? What's a breakfast? What's your favorite breakfast? First album you bought? Movie that makes you laugh? The stuff that anybody, I could ask a 5-year-old this and they could be able to answer all those questions. You know what I mean? And then we slowly dip into it, and all my favorite episodes are the ones that, the person starts out maybe a little not cagey, but like you could tell that they have something under the surface that they don't quite want to say because they're a human and everyone does that. But if the interview has gone well, to really strike into someone's heart and like get a really personal, deep, interesting story by the end of it, just like brings me so much joy to know that I was able to craft at least a little bit of a friendship over this, hour and a half interview or whatever it may be.
That's cool.
So,
or 4, or 4 hour
or
interview.
sometimes in the case of Brendan Lee Mulligan, it's about 4.5 hours. But hey, who am I to deny the people what they want? He had a lot of good stories. I couldn't stop him.
Nice. How did you come up with the concept of the number 99? Like, where did you be like, okay, I'm not going to ask them 82 questions. I'm not going to ask them 100 questions. I'm going to ask them 99 questions.
That's a very good question. I don't know if I ever. I feel like it just naturally came out to be about 100, and I don't know if I've ever told this story. You got a hot scoop on this one.
Ooh.
I was
Tell me more.
I was throwing around the idea of wanting to do some sort of a podcast for a while. So I had all these different ideas, and I went to school for graphic design and advertising. So I have a little bit of like logo design and, stuff like that in my background. So I was fiddling around with like, messing with the logos or messing with this. And there was an idea for a podcast I came up with that I still think would be good and probably exists somewhere in the world of podcastdom. Which would basically be like The Onion, but for video games, but in an audio format. Kind of like a daily show, but exclusively video game based. And I was like, that would kind of be a cool concept. And I recorded one pilot episode, and it just didn't flow the way I wanted it to. And it just ended up being too snarky for me. And I was just, it didn't really fit the tone I wanted. But long story short of that one is, in my head, I had it called Pixel Perfect Radio. And so I made this
such a good name.
Which is, I hope someone steals that, because that is a good name for a show.
Oh, that's so good.
But I designed this logo out of blocks, and it had PPR, and then I eventually just shortened it to just the PP. And when I was coming up with the list, I was like, what would 100 be good, or what was this? And again, I'm fiddling around with logos as I'm coming up with the concept, and I literally just flipped the PP to 99, and I said, oh, that kind of works. And I ended up scrapping that logo entirely and coming up with a new one, but I think that's what locked it in my head. Like, yeah, 99 sounds right. And the all-important, like, Google it with the quotes, and you really don't find any shows that exist with that name, so I'm like, I'm in. I got all the SEO I need.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's cool. And Oh, go ahead, Jonah.
I mean, you pretty much just answered it, but like before you came up with the 99 questions and like the Pixel Perfect Radio, was there any like other names you were thinking of before?
I don't think there were. That's it's a very interesting question, because I knew I liked the idea of asking the same questions to multiple people, and whatever form that took. Like, I was basically doing a combination of Larry King did a series of interviews, or like a YouTube show where he did something very similar to this. He would like end his interviews with this thing called, I think it's called "You Ought to Know" or something like that, where it was exactly that. He would just ask these same like 10 questions to multiple people. Also, famously, that inside the actor studio, they would always do the same thing. Like, what's your favorite curse word? Where would you want to see the dude at heaven tell you when you get to heaven? What, I'm butchering the questions, but you
Yeah.
know the ones. So I always love that idea of like just having that core set of questions, just so I don't, partially out of laziness, I think, so I don't have to come up with new ones every single week.
Makes
Um,
sense.
but I just like that idea, asking the same questions to different people and getting different answers. So it just kind of spun off of there. I don't think I had anything in the books name-wise
Yeah.
prior to 99 questions, though. Again, if anyone wants Pixel Perfect Radio, I think that is a dang good name for a show, and I can promise you I Googled it a lot. It is not taken by anybody. So.
Honestly, I think you should get the domain and then sell it.
Ooh. But before this episode releases,
Yeah.
let me...
You got 2 days.
Snatch that up.
You have until Tuesday. Exactly. Bob, I know that you're usually the one that's asking the questions, but we're gonna flip the script on you a little bit here,
Oh,
and
good gravy.
we've
All right.
we've come up with our own list of questions to get to know you a little bit better. This is called 9.9 questions. So, yeah, Brad, I might kick one of these over to you too.
Oh
So,
boy.
So get ready.
Okay.
All right. And Bob will follow the general same rules for your show here.
Okay.
So, are you ready?
I sure hope so.
All right. Question 1. Who is the coolest video game dude?
Oh, that is a good question. Wes, I'm so glad I told you to ask these questions.
I think it has to be Solid Snake.
Oh, that's a cool dude. That's a pretty cool dude.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going by Twin Snakes lore, he literally backflipped off of a rocket. Like,
that's a pretty cool dude.
That's a pretty cool dude.
I cannot argue with your logic here. Excellent. Question 2. What is the best original soundtrack in games?
Oh.
Ooh.
I personally have an answer for this one.
I would love to
Jonah,
hear.
this is not 9.9 questions for Jonah. This is 9.9 questions for Bob.
Okay.
Jeez. I'm curious what Jonah
I'm just kidding. We'll let Bob think about his answer. Jonah, what's your answer?
Ocarina of Time.
Okay.
Good choice.
Yeah.
If only for that title screen music, like that is, it just fills my heart with joy.
Yeah, that one's unmistakable for sure.
I mean, there's only like one song in that, one or two songs in that aren't like instantly memorable.
Yeah.
Yes. Bob looks like he's still thinking. So Brad, give me the best video game soundtrack.
There's 1,000, and it could change in 10 minutes. But
the first one, the best. You have to give me the best.
Whatever. When you asked the question, the first one that popped into my head, and probably just because we saw it on the direct, was Chrono Cross.
You are correct, sir. That is the right answer.
Wow.
This is why Brad's on the show. Okay, he knows what he's talking about.
Very nice.
All right, Bob. What's your answer?
The one that I have a couple that came to mind, like Cuphead, I think is probably pretty high up there, just in terms of production value too. But I think for sheer catchiness, it's probably Mega Man 2.
Okay.
That is a classic soundtrack for sure. That Wily's Castle theme. Man, that's so good.
I had that in a Walkman at about I think 8 or 9 years old. Like
Nice.
recorded off the television. Find a spot where there's no enemies and there's no other sound happening. Just let it record, and that was in a Walkman. I think front and back of a 90-minute tape, just on loop.
Hey,
Nice.
hey, Brad, what is a Walkman?
Right.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I know what it is. I'm just kidding.
We all turn to dust and just disappear.
Jonah's left by himself on the show.
I'm just kidding. I know what it is. I've had one.
All right, let's keep this train rolling. Number 3. How many? Okay, this is for Bob. How many 77-year-olds could you take in a fight?
77, eh?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna do something just for a frame of reference. Who's a famous 77-year-old celebrity?
Are we talking like Sifu standards? Because I feel like
Well, this is a riff on a question on Bob's show, which I can't remember. Is it 9-year-olds?
I believe it is. Yes. How many 9-year-olds could you beat in a fight if they were if they were coming at you in one single solitary wave? Okay, so 77-year-old celebrities. We got Jerry Springer, George Lucas, Danny DeVito, Michael Douglas. Okay, I could take on a lot of these. I'm thinking. Yeah, Craig T. Nelson, Gary Busey. Oh, these are all going down. I'm gonna say at least 45.
Wow.
77-year-olds.
Yeah.
What?
That's confidence.
Bare
'Cause let's
fist.
be honest. Oh yeah. Oh, 100%.
Oh, he's bringing the guns. Let's go.
I got a taste of
All
freedom
right.
and justice right here. Like it's happening.
Right.
That's great. I
'cause
love
let's
it.
there's a domino effect there. You know what I mean? You knock down one, another one goes down.
And as soon
They're
as
not
they
gonna
go
be able to get
down, they've
back
got a
up.
broken hip, so they're not getting back up.
Honestly,
right?
you just Spartan kick Danny DeVito. It's like a bowling. It's like you're bowling.
Brad, do you have an answer for this question?
This is fan art I hope to be getting shortly.
This is a really hard question, honestly, because
You can
I don't
pass if you
know.
don't want to answer. It's
I
fine.
don't know how much fighting any of you guys have done, but like it's really exhausting. And also I'm a nurse and I see a lot of 77-year-olds, and there's a wild difference between 77-year-olds. I have a 75 or so year old patient that I wouldn't step to. So, it depends on the 77-year-old. I wouldn't say more than 2 on my best day for sure.
Right. I like the honesty. I appreciate the insight too. All right, number 4. What's the worst meal you've ever eaten?
Wow. Worst meal.
That's a tough one, actually.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of one that's especially bad. Because I feel like mediocre is just like,
Yeah.
that's just kind of lunch in America, a lot of places, But especially bad.
I guess like it could be like something that's like immediately made you sick afterwards.
Oh, it could be anything. Like
Yeah.
just it could be in your own home. You could have prepared something and you're like, this is terrible. I'm throwing this out. I don't know. I'm just
Oh.
anything.
My mom made like Reuben sandwiches. She found a recipe online to make this thing called a Reuben ring, and that sounds really dirty. It was so gross. It was so gross. My stepdad and we always give her crap for it, and we're like, uh-oh, I hope this doesn't turn out like another Reuben ring.
What is it?
It's like Reuben sandwich stuff in like a ring, like a bundt cake, like a bundt cake pan, and you
Sure.
layer it in like ratatouille-ish, and then you put it in the oven, and it was awful. It was so
that
gross.
sounds awful.
I was like
Yeah.
17 when she made it, and 10 years later we still give my mom crap for it.
The beauty of terrible meals, right?
Oh
here.
yeah.
Making memories.
I
Bob,
might
you have an answer?
I might have to steal the Reuben ring because I don't have a good one. That's the best we're gonna get. That's great.
Fair enough. Fair enough. We'll move on to the next one. Bob, I have no doubt in my mind you'll be able to answer this question. What was the best pro wrestling match in history?
Oh.
Okay. I immediately have several that come to mind.
Your favorite one?
I'm a very big pro wrestling fan. Gosh. All right, I'm throwing two quick honorable mentions and then the best one.
Okay.
Quick honorable mention goes to Randy Orton versus Mick Foley in a hardcore match, Backlash 04, I believe. For the IC title. Excellent. It is both Randy Orton and Mick Foley's best match. Mick Foley is my favorite wrestler of all time. I have a signed Mr. Sacco from him.
Oh, cool.
In my background there.
Nice.
Very big honorable mention there. Other honorable mention goes to AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe versus Christopher Daniels in TNA's pay-per-view. Name escapes me, and I think 2005 actually.
Coming this Sunday.
The best one that I can think of off the top of my head is Ric Flair versus Terry Funk in an I Quit match from 1989, and it is as violent of a match and as much of a spectacle as any match has ever been in history.
Cool.
It is like a 5-star classic all the way around.
You heard it here, folks. Go look it up on YouTube if you can find it.
Yeah.
Worthwhile. All right. Question 6. Can you tell us about a time when you were growing up as a young boy when you vacationed at the Jersey Shore?
Seems targeted based on a certain Draft Punks appearance, but I like it. Yeah, I've had a ton of those experiences. In fact, I am a famous Jersey boy. Very much a big fan of it, and I grew up going down the shore all the time. My mom had a genius method of taking us on quote-unquote vacation, where we would not go to a hotel, but we would go to the pool of a hotel. She would go to the front desk and say, "Oh, we're checked in here, but we forgot our key to the pool. Can you let us in?" And then we would just spend the whole day for free at the pool.
Nice.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Which was absolutely brilliant. Shout outs to an OG, my mom, who ripped off so many hotel chains over the years.
Funny thing is, like, all the rest of the families did the same thing, so right?
Worked out.
You never know.
Maybe. But some of my best memories come from, there was an arcade attached to that hotel, that, like, off of the pool section, a little arcade that had King's Quest, Mortal Kombat 2, had a handful of others. There was some sort of motorcycle game. It wasn't Hydro Thunder. It was something you wrote on. I forget. But the best one being Mortal Kombat 2, and I played the heck out of Mortal Kombat 2,
Nice.
the arcade game, in there. And yeah, to this day, that's my favorite Mortal Kombat and my favorite fighting game.
Cool.
And my favorite arcade cabinet, because that Raiden with lightning on the side is just the coolest art on any arcade cabinet ever.
Yeah, it's pretty damn cool. I agree. All right, question 7. Best breakfast cereal.
Oh.
I want an answer from all 3 of you guys on this one.
This is a hot take because it's a simple one, but I'm going to go Rice Krispies. I've never been super into sugary cereals. So Rice Krispies is just a great texture, great crunch.
Okay.
You could eat it dry. You could eat it with milk. Doesn't need any accoutrement, no strawberries, no sugar. It just is great as it is.
Best acoustics in cereal, hands down.
I'm gonna bounce off. Like, I like the Rice Krispie, but I'd have to go with like Chex if I'm gonna go with like a plain cereal, like plain Chex. I think that's the next step up from Rice Krispies, but I'm gonna have to go OG Cinnamon Toast Crunch, baby.
Good one.
That is a delicious cereal. Brad, how about you?
I'm with Bob, not into sugary cereal, Raisin Bran.
Dude,
Porridge.
I will
I do love me some Raisin Bran.
I
Yeah.
will throw down on some Raisin Bran.
I don't eat cereal often, but that's one of my faves.
Yeah. I good choices, guys. Good choices. I like it. Question 8. You guys can all answer this one as well. You're going to Blockbuster in 1999. Do you immediately go to the comedy section, the action section, or the horror section?
1999, probably action. I think nowadays, if it existed, I would have went comedy, but it's action.
All right.
Yeah.
See, 1999, I was only 4, so
You could still go to a Blockbuster.
yeah, no, I definitely did. I
There's no bouncer at the door checking IDs.
um, see, it would have
You sneaking away from Mama to go check out the horror boxes? Or
no,
what?
I was a little literally, but I was a baby and I didn't like scary stuff. Honestly, I always went to the games. I never really checked out the movies, but I guess it'd have to be the kids section, so probably mostly comedies, I'd say.
Fair enough. Fair enough. How about you, Brad?
In '99, yeah, I would have went straight for games or anime, but out of the choices, comedy.
Okay. Very good. Question 9, Bob.
Mm.
What was your fondest memory from the last year?
Wow. Um. Okay, so it was either this is my classic I can't decide on one thing syndrome kicking in. Um I had a really, really great vacation down at the Jersey Shore last summer, and it was like me and a bunch of friends, and it was the first time we could really get out since all the lockdown stuff happened, and we just rented a house and just stayed for a long weekend down the shore and ate
Sweet.
way too much seafood, and we were like a block away from this little tiki bar right on the water. It was just like it was just like a perfect like 3 days. It's either that or this sounds strange in comparison, but I did an interview from 99 Questions with, and I've had a lot of really, really great guests on there. This isn't disparaging of any of them, but I did one with Matt Helgeson from
Oh, yeah.
Crossfade and formerly
course.
of Game Informer and all
Yep.
that.
Mhm.
And he was like just such an. I looked up to him so much growing up. I read his stuff in Game Informer, like, you know how some people, especially with movies, and I think a lot of people with games too, have that like one reviewer that they just like really
Yes.
click with. Like if that
Yes.
reviewer gives something a 10, like in your head you're like, we're on the same vibes, we're on the same wavelength. If he gave it a 10, I know I'm gonna love it. And growing up, that was always Matt Helgeson for me. We were always on the same wavelength with stuff. And I used to love his writings and really, really love his stuff. And he would always drop like Wu-Tang Clan references in his writing. And it like opened me up to all this music that I was just getting into. And it was like, I was like, Method Man, eh? I'll check this out. And I did, and I loved it. And so like he was always on a dream list of like, I would love to interview him, but there's no chance. He's such out of the public eye, like he's not going to do it. And then he actually said yes. And I think that whole interview, I listened back to it because I edit everything, but like I must have sounded like a 5-year-old kid because I was just so overjoyed and excited to be able to talk to him. And like ask him very specific questions about like his writings in like the 90s. It was like a literal dream to be able to interview him. It sounds very weird because I've had much bigger guests, but that was the one. Like,
Hey, whatever's your
No,
favorite is
I-
your favorite.
How
That's
cool.
cool.
I totally
Yeah,
get
very
it.
cool.
We've had a few folks on our show that I absolutely looked up to very highly, and I know exactly what you're talking about. So I think that's great. And Matt Helgeson is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I remember him. When I first started listening to podcasts, one of the very first podcasts I started listening to was the GI Show. He was the very first host of the GI Show, way back when, before Ben
Yeah.
Hansen and Tim Turing
buttery
took over.
smooth voice.
Oh
like,
yeah, that dude's
yeah.
voice. Chef's kiss. Mwah.
The fact that he was
absolutely.
in writing for so long, but he had the greatest voice of all time is just like such irony there.
Right.
Yeah, he rules.
Yeah, nice. All right. Question 10. If you were immortal, What would you do with... Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I think that's all the time that we have for this segment, so we're going to have to move on. I would...
0.9. I
I
knew that
would...
was going to be something.
Yes.
I would recap what we've learned, but I don't think we have any time because it's time for the debate. And with that, I'm turning things over to the one, the only, the judge, Jonah Gomez.
Hello, lads. We have a fantastic debate for you today. I don't know why I'm doing it like that. That's kind of weird.
Like a Hunger Games host there.
But we have Bob and Brad on as our debaters today, and I'm very intrigued about this one because I know very little about both of these games. Bob will be representing Phantasy Star 4, and Brad will be representing Final Fantasy 4, the Battle of the Fours. Woo!
The classics.
The classics.
Yeah,
Keeping it
we're
old school.
going 16-bit on this one.
16-bit, baby. Sorry, I really wanted to say that. As always, we will have our segments broken into 3 parts. We will have the opening, the rebuttal, and your closing thoughts. 2 minutes for each thought. Our man down in the bottom left corner, Wes Bates, will be the assist trophy. He will add an additional 30 seconds onto your debate, and he will be using those 30 seconds to boost your thoughts. So,
whenever you want to use it.
Whenever you want to use it.
Just call out assist trophy, and I will jump in and support you for 30 seconds.
Yes. One time though. You have him once. Bob, with you being a newer guest, would you like to start the debate or go second?
I would like to go second, please.
Ooh. All right, Brad. 2 minutes on the clock for your opening statement. 3, 2, 1, debate.
Okay, Final Fantasy IV, easily one of my favorite games of all time. On any given day, it might just be my favorite game of all time. In so many ways, this game kicked off the golden era of Square RPGs that spanned through the Super Nintendo era and early PlayStation era. A good 15-year run there of just legendary RPGs from Square. Final Fantasy IV released in Japan July 19th of 1991 on the Super Famicom. Came to the States, localized and came to the States and Europe, I believe in that November, if I'm not mistaken. I first played this game that winter, 1992. Some of the best times of my life. This game was the first game that I ever played that I really felt any kind of emotion for. I came up playing the original Final Fantasy, the first 4 Dragon Quest games, Exodus games. I had already had a lot of RPG experience under my belt by the time this game came out, but nothing before then had touched me the way this game did. There's moment after moment in this game is just beautiful. To see the genre go into so many colors too, to get it in 16
30 seconds.
Thank you. Very, very, and just to have a real story where, you had characters that had relationships with each other. I know we kind of take this for granted now, but at least for me, on consoles, this was the first game that really you got to know your characters, and it's just a very special game to me. Some of the best memories of my life tied to this one.
Ace.
Good.
Very well.
Very nice. Very nice.
All right. Bob, how are you feeling after those opening thoughts?
Feeling good.
Feeling good?
I'm hearing the passion, and I'm like a Fast and the Furious movie. I got to speed up my passion to catch up with it.
Ooh, all right.
I like
love it.
Bob, you got 2 minutes on the clock for your opening statement. Are you ready, sir?
Yes, I am.
3, 2, 1, debate.
Phantasy Star 4, End of the Millennium, came out for Sega Genesis in 1995. It is, I dare say, the best RPG on the Genesis, if not one of the best RPGs of all time. It is criminally underrated. It breaks through and really does innovate a lot of things in the RPG space. Some things that have never come back, including macros in battles, presetting your attacks in case of, different battles that you might run into. It is a incredibly deep story. It is actually the fourth game in the series that really does continue one giant saga. The first game being, an excellent intro to that world. The second game completely changing the game, having you travel all around the universe, blowing up one of the planets in that universe, and then dealing with those repercussions in the fourth game of that blown up planet and what becomes of it. The third game actually takes place on a satellite that has escaped that blown up planet. And you don't realize it until about halfway through the game. But the people from the third game show up in the fourth game. This fourth game is such a culmination of years and years, going back to the Master System of these Phantasy Star games, that being able to play it and dive into these incredibly drawn out and rich characters just added such a sense of accomplishment and a conclusion to this franchise. It is absolutely amazing. Criminally underrated, very innovative. It combined manga, anime storytelling in their own cutscenes, which to this day really wasn't done in a lot of 16-bit RPGs. And I'm going to prove why it's superior to that Nintendo game over there.
Oh, getting that last jab in.
Already slinging the mud into the rebuttal.
Dang. All right, Brad. Bob came at you early with a slight jab. How you feeling?
I had to throw something there. Sorry.
Oh, I'm feeling okay.
You feeling okay? All right.
Yeah, I'm feeling his passion too.
All right. All right, Brad. Let's bring the heat. 3, 2, 1, debate.
Okay, so I am a fan of this series. My experience with this franchise goes back to the Master System as well. So I also, in preparation for this debate, played about 15 hours of this game just to kind of get back into it and see if everything holds up. My main gripe with this game, keeping in mind the era that it's from, is a distinct lack of diversity. Everything is either a cave or a facility. You get access to, I believe, 3 vehicles in this game, right? The first one's like a land cruiser type of thing, which doesn't really give you access to anything that you didn't have access to before. You get another 2, you get access to new dungeons and towns, but I found it kind of lacking in like diverse environments. I found the overworld sprites to be like literally whack. The anime cutscenes he brings up were definitely innovative, very, very cool, especially for the time. He's absolutely right, but there's so few of them that it's kind of, it leaves you kind of wanting more, because to me, the visuals are, just kind of boring. The music in the game, being honest about that, like the overworld theme isn't bad, and the dungeon theme's actually pretty darn good, but I found kind of a lack of diversity and like really slamming tracks like in the soundtrack there. Combat is repetitive and kind of quirky. There's like a combo system that's really kind of cool, but like very easy to miss if you're not like, if you don't, it does very little explaining, so it's very kind of now I don't know if that's due to like translation stuff. Maybe when it came out in Japan it was better, but I just found it really confusing.
All right. Wow, Brad's bringing the heat. I was very unsure when you started like praising the game, but you brought the hammer down.
Game.
You brought it down. All right, Bob, you got 2 minutes on the clock for your rebuttal. Ready, set, debate.
All right. I dare say a lot of those points that were brought up do speak to the strengths of the game. The combo system is something that is very hidden in the game and only explained in the instruction books, where people can actually combine magical attacks for these huge screen-wiping magical effects that, especially as a kid, and I think still to this day, once you actually discover them, really give you this whole sense of exploration of like, oh, how many more of these can I combine, and make you delve into that battle system even deeper. I also say I understand the critique about the battle system being a little bit repetitive, but at the same time, this is a game that is built around not having to grind out levels, as opposed to, and I dare say, a lot of Final Fantasy games, where you very much have to. This is a shorter experience that is meant to scale along with you, so grinding isn't necessary there. I will also say the environments I personally love in Phantasy Star a lot, as opposed to Final Fantasy IV, which I think is very good, but it's also very castle-y. It's very fantasy-based, the dragoons and the castles, like you're getting a lot of that, where this is a classic fantasy adventure from the start, almost a Star Wars New Hope at the beginning, growing up on this desert planet because the system that controlled the environment was blown up in Phantasy Star 2, but we'll worry about that
30
later.
seconds.
Thank you. And that eventually evolves into this absolute sci-fi space hopping adventure. Like, you go into the evil magician's castle, and underneath it is a rocket ship that brings you to another planet altogether. The combination of fantasy and sci-fi still really isn't done all that much, and I think they nailed it in 1995. Also, the Land Rover is super cool and has a great soundtrack.
Time. All right.
Remember, say more, but I had the note on the Land Rover, and
remember, lads, you still have Wes for the additional 30 seconds as your assist. All right, Brad. Closing thoughts. Are you ready, sir?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
All right. So, Final Fantasy IV is a very special game. I'm also a fan of the Phantasy Star series, but to me, Final Fantasy IV just had more moments. The spoilers, the twins dying, Cecil changing from the Dark Knight to the Paladin, like it just, the deaths, the not deaths where they come back to life and you're relieved, and it just. Phantasy Star just doesn't have that emotional connection for me, and it never has. Again, a solid RPG franchise, but just not the same. I find it funny you mentioned the year 95 that it came out. Mind you, this game, Phantasy Star 4, in the States at least, came out between Final Fantasy 6 and at least as far as the States release and Chrono Trigger, and I don't think it stands up to either of those games either. It doesn't stand up to its contemporaries. It doesn't look as good. It doesn't sound as good, and it just doesn't have the emotional connection. This game kind of, I think it rides on this legacy of being the best JRPG on the Genesis, but I think Lunar is better. That's just my opinion. I know that's a Sega CD game, but
30 seconds.
To me, it's not the best JRPG on the Genesis. Even it's a average RPG for me. It just doesn't touch the same places that Final Fantasy does. I don't think it ever will. Wes, get him.
Okay, I'm fighting a battle in Phantasy Star 4. My character gets hit with a critical attack. I pull up the menu to figure out how to cast a cure spell. I have no idea what spell is the cure spell. Maybe I'll cast Gifwoy. Oh no, that blasts an enemy with a bolt of flame. Maybe Nagra? No, that crushes enemies with a powerful gravity well.
10 seconds.
Is it Doran? No, that reduces agility. Rimpa? Reaver? Ryuka? I don't know, because this game has a terrible, terrible menu system. It doesn't tell you what any of the technical skills do.
Brad, you still have about 15 seconds.
I think I'm okay. I was just passing that over to Wes.
All right.
Love Final Fantasy IV. Phantasy Star 4 is a great game too. Just isn't on the same level. That's all there is to it.
Ooh, pulling out on the same level card. Dang. All right. Bob, you still have Wes to use. You don't have to use your assist trophy if you don't want to, but that is a resource you still have. You got 2 minutes on the clock. 3, 2, 1, debate.
Part of the reason that I feel so passionately about Phantasy Star 4 is because it is a growing saga. 1, 2, 3, and 4 all build up to 1, 2, and 3 all build up to this immense conclusion inside of 4 that really does have a huge emotional connection to not only the previous games, but completely well built within that single solitary game. Also, it does have colossal moments, including the death of a major protagonist in that game. Spoiler alert, well before a certain PS1 RPG that got super famous for doing that. It really does tug on my heartstrings in a lot of different ways. It's absolutely, well, Wes, tag in here. Assist trophy.
All right, let's talk about Kain in Final Fantasy IV, the character that should arguably be one of the coolest characters in the game. But guess what? He's a giant jerk. He backstabs you like multiple times throughout the game. Like, this is a character who has like the coolest move. He's in your party multiple times. The jump skill, he jumps off the screen, you can't hit him, he comes down, massive damage on enemies. But he's just a real prick, honestly. And, for a character that should be so cool, and they just mess him up so much, and you just hate him because he just keeps betraying you over and over and over again, it absolutely sucks.
Ooh, that was very good. Ooh. Bob, you still have 1 minute. Would you like to continue?
Yeah, I think I'm going to use at least a little bit of that.
All right, go.
So at the end of the day, I could talk about how it builds this saga of games, and how Final Fantasy is completely standalone titles every single time, which, all the games have to stand on their own merit, which sometimes is a good thing, sometimes is a very bad thing. But at the end of the day, what Phantasy Star 4 is about is a real story of growth for your main protagonist there. And whether it
30
is
seconds.
Hopping around the stars, whether it is defeating beasts, whether it's these giant combo attacks, whether it's hacking into mainframes and driving around in that Land Rover, which once again has an amazing soundtrack and song behind it. It is an adventure that is worth a lifetime, that I've replayed multiple times, and I will defend to my very best whenever given the opportunity on shows such as this.
Very
Bravo.
Nice.
Bravo.
You guys outdid yourselves on this one. This is a tough one because I have like no history with either of these games, so it really was like you guys debating to sell me on this game. But before we get to my thoughts on your guys' debate, Wes, what did you think, man?
Yeah, I absolutely love the arguments from both sides. I'll be honest, like, Final Fantasy IV was kind of like my first foray into RPGs. And it holds a special place in my heart as well. Not my favorite in the series by far, but it's a very good game, and I do like it a lot. I've never played Phantasy Star 4 at all before. That said, I feel like Bob did just a little bit better job selling me on Phantasy Star 4, and bringing the kind of the good points of the game to light. Just with the whole saga of the whole thing, how it kind of like feeds into each other, and the story twists. And I did a little bit of research on this game beforehand to kind of get up to snuff, and I think, honestly, I think the soundtrack is really good from what I heard. That was going to be one of my points. I didn't get a chance to say it, but for a Genesis game, a console that typically is a bit kind of maligned for its sound, I think Phantasy Star 4 really holds up well. So in this instance, I think I'm gonna go with Bob.
All right. Well, I have 2
You
points.
did an excellent job, Brad.
Oh
Excellent
yeah,
job.
Brad killed it.
Nice.
Absolutely killed it. But there were 2 points that really sold me on Phantasy Star 4, and it was not having to grind. I'm not a big fan of grinding, and that the game is anime AF. I am so in for the anime. So,
It sure is. Man.
that being said, I am giving my point to Bob on this one. But friends, family, everyone out there, guess what? You can decide who won this debate. Go into the cast your votes on the Discord. Cast your vote, baby. See who's going to win on the next episode of the Great Game Debate. That being said, last week we got our results.
Ooh.
In our Wolfenstein versus Doom debate for the most recent iterations, winning by 1 point
Ooh.
was Doom.
Wow.
I accept defeat.
That was
Mitchell did an awesome job
Yes.
defending the honor of
Yes,
Doom.
he did.
He really, really did. So, great job, Mitchell.
Yes, sir. And with that, I will leave you with a farewell, and we'll see you in the pitch.
All right, we're back from our break, and we're rolling right into the next segment, which is the pitch. In the pitch, everybody in the panel will be giving a 2-minute sales pitch for a game that they love, and they will be trying to sell the other panelists on the game. After the sales pitch, the rest of the panelists will have the opportunity to ask follow-up questions, and you have to try to sell us on your game. So first up to the pitcher's mound is Jonah Gomez. He's going to show these gentlemen how it's done. Jonah, are you ready?
I believe I am.
Excellent. Let me get the timer out here.
Okay.
All right. Ready? 3, 2, 1, pitch.
All right. So I'm kind of sticking to my normal track of games, as the other debaters would say, the Call of Duty guy, since today I'm bringing Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, but I'm not bringing all of Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. I'm just bringing the best part, which is the campaign. And now you might be thinking, the campaign of a Call of Duty game? What? No, dude, this campaign is so good. The writing is incredible. It legit feels like they got some of the Game of Thrones writers for a Call of Duty campaign. There's high intense moments, and there's like surprise deaths on a lot of the people you build these connections with. The cast is probably one of the best casts in the Call of Duty that I've ever played. You've got the super awesome Space Marine that's really standoffish with you at the beginning, but then you get to see this bond over time. And I won't go into like details on like what happens later on, but it's so awesome. Now, I'm going to take a step back and go towards the gameplay. Yeah, it feels like your standard
30 seconds.
first-person shooter Call of Duty, but the thing that this game does different is you've got space combat where you're just shooting your guns out in space, and that feels cool, but there's dogfighting. You get to fly a space jet around, shoot down other targets. It feels good. It's super awesome. You feel like you're kind of in like a Star Wars game or whatever. It's incredible.
Time.
Wow.
Nicely done. All right,
Right.
so you've piqued my interest with dogfighting. Um, how do the space fighters control, and how much of the game do you spend in a fighter?
Literally like half of it. You can
Hmm.
you like they've
Wow.
got side quests that are devoted just to space combat. Like there's a scene where, or there's a part of the game where you guys end up getting ambushed and like some serious stuff happens and you guys manage to barely escape. But the side quest is you go back to that back to that part, and they don't expect you to go back, and then you do like another ambush, and you're taking out all their ships and their cruisers and stuff in your what they call jackals, and it's really cool.
Nice. And is it control well for
Yeah,
like? I assume it's like first person dogfighting, or is it pull
yeah,
out to like a third person type thing?
it is first person. Now that being said, it's not going to be anything like Star Wars Squadrons or anything. It's not like the most in depth, but there's enough meat there for you to really chew on. Like it does feel good. The lock on system is nice. You can lock onto an enemy, and you kind of have to keep your stick in line with how they're moving in order to stay locked on. So like if you pull off like the wrong way, you will break off of them. And you can see like the cursor that you're supposed to line up with, so you can shoot your projectile in front of them so it collides. It's pretty cool. There's three different like light weapons, and then there's three heavy weapons that you can unlock, and everything you unlock is through the side missions in this game. And so there's like the dogfighting side missions, and then there's like on foot side missions where you'll have to get onto an enemy cruiser and do an objective, which is usually just get some sort of equipment and unlock in future missions and stuff for your loadouts. But like every time you complete a side mission, it gives you like an additional perk for other things in the future. And for the most part, they feel a little samey, but there's enough in there that changes it up. So it's not like, oh, I'm just doing this mission again over and over and over again.
Hmm. Yeah, and Call of Duty is not usually a series that I think of when I think of the term side mission.
Oh no, it's
So
usually really linear.
yeah, so this is kind of interesting to me that they have all of these side missions in here. So, I mean, usually the campaign I think in Call of Duty games is relatively short. How much extra gameplay do the side missions add to the campaign?
I'd say it took me maybe 8 to 10 hours to beat the whole thing with doing all of the side missions. That being
Okay.
said, you could probably beeline the main quest in I'd say like 3-4 hours.
Oh,
Would
okay. So it's a
Wow.
considerable chunk that it
Yeah,
adds to the experience.
yeah, but there's a lot of story building and like extra stuff that like there's a lot of solid stuff that you can get out of those side quests.
Right. And this is the kind of like far future Call of Duty in space
Mm-hmm.
game,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If I'm
Well,
not mistaken.
it was like the last like double jump, run on the wall. Like it kind of has that Titanfall feeling, but not done near as well as Titanfall.
Hmm.
Um, I'm gonna be honest, like the what Call of Duty's known for is like the shooting and stuff. This was the last game that Infinity Ward worked on before they got their new engine for the Modern Warfare 2019, which is probably one of the best feeling Call of Duties. So the shooting aspect I didn't really care too much for, but I mean you bump the game on easy, you're not gonna have any issues with it. I just played it on normal and I still got through it pretty quick. So I mean I had a lot of fun with it. If I didn't even have like 3/4 of the time I had with it, I wouldn't have pitched it.
Nice. Bob or Brad, do you have any questions about this game?
I don't. I don't really have any questions. I'm not much of a shooter guy myself, but I hear like space combat, and I hear like side missions, and I hear like progression system, and like these are things that like those are things that cause my dopamine reaction. So, honestly, I don't play a lot of shooters at all. But Jonah actually made this one sound kind of interesting. I might check it out.
Yeah, they experimented a lot with this game, and it sucks
Yeah,
because when they showed it
it
at
sounds like it.
E3, everyone's like, "Whoa, this game looks super cool!" And then Call of Duty Infinite Warfare came up, and everyone's like,
Ah.
"Oh, it's another Call of Duty." But
But
like,
you made it sound different, which I
yeah,
like.
Yeah.
I even stuff I don't typically enjoy. Like if I hear it's different, I tend to try them. So that kind of piques my interest a little, at least more than a regular shooter would. You did a good job.
oh, they have a
Okay.
robot AI character, and he is awesome. He cracks jokes. He's written really well. He's got like this southern country accent. It's pretty funny.
Interesting.
Sounds like fun. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Bob, you have any questions?
My only follow-up question was, a lot of the Call of Duty games are known for their kind of big set piece moments, the big, game-changing cutscene battle, whatever it is, that got very famous through the Modern Warfare games.
Mhm.
Does this game have those, or is these dogfighting sequences maybe the closest that we get to it? 'Cause
No,
they tried to change things
it
up.
does, and I don't want to go into them because they're spoiler heavy. And
Okay.
like I'm telling you, I don't want to spoil the story for you because it is really good, which is
Wow.
which is something that I don't think about when yeah, the Call of Duty stories are fun and they're crazy, and like you said, it's like you're playing through a Michael Bay movie. It's ridiculous. But this one legit has really good writing. The main antagonist is played by Kit Harington, which you don't really see a whole lot of
Oh.
him, but it is cool having him there.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea how much this game costs now?
When I got it on sale. Since I'm just pitching the campaign, I really recommend just trying to get like a CD key or something, or finding it on a sale, because that's what I got it for. I spent like $12 on it for a sale, and was like, that's perfect. That's the perfect
Okay.
amount.
It looks like it's about $10 on Xbox and about $15 on PlayStation 4 used at GameStop.
Perfect. That's like
Not
the
bad.
perfect amount of money you should spend on it.
No risk at all there.
All right. Great job pitching the game, Jonah. I'm gonna go to Bob first. Bob, are you interested in this game? Did Jonah sell it for you? Are you gonna jump into this?
The price proposition versus amount of decidedly un-Call of Duty stuff in a Call of Duty game. I'm giving this a thumbs up. Yeah.
Heck
I'm
yeah.
in.
Nice.
I'm very interested in this now.
So, how about you, Brad?
I'm with Bob for the same exact reasons. It's a low risk, low cost type of deal. Like if you don't like it, just never look at it again. But it sounds different and interesting enough, to check out. So yeah, thumbs up for me too.
Sweet.
Great
Good job.
Well, Jonah, I hate to be the one that breaks your 3 out of 3. So I'm not going to, because
Oh!
you sold it, man. You sold it. I'm not a Call of Duty person at all, but if I was going to play a Call of Duty in space where you get to fly around in like space fighters, that sounds good to me.
Yeah.
This sounds really interesting, and like these guys said, given the price point, it's a low barrier for entry. Yeah, I think you did it, man. You sold me.
Awesome.
3 out
Appreciate
of
it,
3.
guys.
Great job.
Let's go.
Yeah.
All right. Do we have any volunteers next up to the pitcher's mound?
I can go.
Bob, would you like to go?
Feeling good about my my game pitch here.
All right. I'm very interested to hear what you're bringing to the table.
Yes.
Let me grab my timer really quickly.
Oh, certainly.
I kicked it out to check the price on that thing. So, all right. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
All right. 3, 2, 1, pitch.
All right. The game I am pitching today is Windjammers 2, which I believe holds the record now of longest gap between the first game and the sequel, because the original came out in 93, and we got absolutely nothing until just now,
Wow.
2022. So it is an arcade, for those unfamiliar, it's an arcade game. It is basically Pong, but instead of paddles, it is buff shirtless dudes on the beach,
Sold.
and instead of a ball bouncing back and forth, you are throwing a frisbee. So you can bounce it off of the walls, you can lob it up to try to catch them off guard, you can put a little bit of like English on it and bounce it off the walls,
Ooh.
put a little spin to it. There are what 2 is kind of added and innovated to it are kind of Street Fighter-esque super moves. So if the disc is lobbed up in the air for long enough and you're in the right spot, you can like go Super Saiyan basically, and then hurl
Oh.
the frisbee back with like fire in like a spiral pattern. Everyone's
Nice.
pattern that they throw it back at is different, so it gives the different characters a unique spin, no pun intended. The level design in this one is super cool. A lot of the levels are just on a beach, or at on a rooftop tournament, or some are
30
in
seconds.
a wrestling ring with certain characters around. The art style is all hand drawn, like kind of cell shady art that's very, very cool. It is a great combination of easy to pick up, because it is literally just A for throwing it and B for lobbing it back and forth, but it is very difficult to master because of the layers of depth that you can put into it with the different throws. It is just an
I'm
arcadey, incredibly fun game.
Awesome.
nice pitch,
Great.
Bob.
Yeah, very
real
good.
good.
Very good.
All right. I will start off the questioning.
Please.
I mean, Windjammers is kind of legendary. Um, listening to podcasts, listening to a lot of Giant Bomb over the years. I mean,
Jeff
you
Gerstmann
can't,
loves it. Yeah.
yeah, you can't get far into that show without hearing the name Windjammers. And I know the sequel's been a long time coming, as you mentioned. Um, so this is a very like heavy arcade style game, and it seems to me that it's probably at its most fun when you're playing with another person. Um, correct me if I'm wrong. So, how is the single player experience in this game? Like, I don't know
Oh.
if I'm gonna be able to necessarily have somebody else available to me to jump into a match and play with. So, if I wanted to pick this game up and play it for the single player, how's that experience?
Great question. I think more solid than I was even expecting. Um, is there an entire massive breadth of single player options? Not exactly. You get an arcade mode, but it's again in the style of the old Windjammers, and that arcade mentality. It is kind of a ladder format where you're fighting basically every other character in the game, through a series of slowly more and more increasingly difficult 1v1 matches. And I should mention, like, if you have this game on easy, you're gonna have a great time. If you have this game on normal, this game's gonna give you a rough edge. I don't put this game on hard. Like, this game on hard is going to whoop me.
Okay.
So I think there is a fair bit of depth there when it comes to single players, if only for that difficulty curve. You can enjoy it as much as you'd like, slowly increasing the difficulty of it. And also, that said, it honestly is a very good net code to match up with random
Oh.
folks online.
Okay, you just answered my question.
Okay, there you go. So whether it's just casual battles, ranked battles, quote unquote, where you're slowly moving up in tiers, you beat somebody, you get 30 points. Once you hit 100, you move to the next tier, or something like that. Not too many frills there. It's not the deepest single player by any means, not the deepest multiplayer by any means, but they give you all you really need to play as much fun Windjammers as you need.
Okay. Can I ask a quick follow-up question?
Please do.
Um, So, how many characters are there
Dang
in the
it,
game
Wes.
to choose from? And then my other question following that up is there a good diversity in the gameplay between characters? I mean, or are they all just kind of cookie cutter, like skin of the same type of thing?
All right, I guess I won't ask any questions this round.
I'm so sorry, Jonah. Would you like to? I rescind my questions. Jonah, please ask Bob questions.
Hey, Bob.
Jonah, seems like you have a question there.
Hey, Bob. What Wes just asked you?
Got it. I believe, and I'm actually looking up the character select screen now. There are either 8 or 10 characters. There's an even number, but I can't quite remember if it's 8 or 10. And art wise, like in terms of character design, there is quite a bit of difference between all the characters. You're gonna have your kind of punk rock girl with the mohawk and the whole deal, and then you have your big strong German muscle man. Like everyone also is repping a country from the
Oh,
world,
okay.
which adds kind of a cool, again, like Street Fighter flair.
I was gonna
like
say,
everyone...
does it have that Street Fighter flavor with the different characters? Okay.
Oh yeah, for sure. Um, Now, play style wise, yeah, most of them are going to play relatively similarly. The biggest difference is that each one of them gives you a slider, basically, that you're not adjusting the preset per character of speed versus power. So if you choose the jacked up German guy, his power is, way over on that side. So he's going to be much slower to move around and roll and try to catch the frisbees. But he can throw it back way faster than someone else who's on the other end of the spectrum, where they can move around the field way more faster to potentially catch the incoming frisbees. But throwing it back, they would have to be way more precise because it's going to be slower than the other characters. Also, the biggest differentiator is every one of the characters gets a different quote-unquote special move.
That's cool.
So, one of them looks like it's coming right towards you, and then it zigzags and makes like a box pattern and dances right around you. One looks like it's kind of coming towards you, but then it hits a wall and just rides the wall all the way into the goal. Another one will be like a spiral pattern. One will like almost be a missile where it does like a V pattern and will go up and then a sharp 45-degree angle downward. So learning the different special moves that people can do definitely does take time and a bit of experience, so you know how to accurately counter them. So if I'm facing the guy who can only throw, their special is they throw the frisbee against the wall and it rides the wall out, I kind of know, like, okay, as soon as I see him starting to charge his power up, I'm either diving for this wall up top or I'm diving for this wall at the bottom. And as soon as I see him start to move in one direction or the other, that's where I'm going to counter it. So it's got some layers in there.
I got a question off the supers, we'll call them, or the olds. How much control is in that? So you're saying like you'll throw it and then it'll like magnetize to one of the walls. Do you get to decide, or is it just kind of random when you throw it?
No, you do get to decide.
Okay.
Yeah, you get a lot of control when it comes down to those supers in a lot of ways. Like even the ones that are just like, oh, you throw it in a spiral. Like if you do it fast enough, the spiral is bigger. And if you do it slower, it's like a tighter spiral, making it easier for them to see the pattern.
Gotcha.
And there's even variations within there where everyone kind of has shared specials as well. So if you're charging up your move and it's the guy who throws it against the wall and it rides the wall all the way to the goal, he can hit the lob button instead of the throw button. So instead of picking a wall for it to stick to, everyone has this shared special of a lob, which basically throws the frisbee on its edge and then it like goes off like a race car. So again, little idiosyncrasies to pick up among a lot of different characters.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. But very long answer to yes, you do get to, if your special has that level of control to it, you absolutely can, pick which wall, pick the spiral, little things like that.
Cool.
Brad, do you have any questions about this game?
Not really. I'm a giant. I played a lot of Windjammers. Going back to Bob's story about hotel pools, specifically
Yeah.
arcades attached to those locations. I grew up very close to a Marriott hotel that had a pool with a little arcade attached. Like a Neo Geo machine, like just kind of your standard fare, a pinball machine there. But Windjammers was there. And I was only a fistful of quarters and about a 3-minute walk from a Windjammers machine growing up. So I played a ton of that game. So he's got a very easy sell on me. Like, I'm already very well aware of this game. It's already on my list. I can't believe I haven't grabbed it yet. My only question is, Bob, I assume that you played a lot of Windjammers yourself. What's new? Like, what's really new?
The biggest new stuff is a handful of new characters. It is the introduction of the special meter as well. For those familiar, like Brad with Windjammers 1, in the original game, the only way to get that super move would be as if they lobbed it up in the air, or if you bounced it basically at the right time and the frisbee got flung up in the air and you went Super Saiyan underneath it. In this one, as you successfully catch shots thrown at you, each player has a little super meter at the bottom. So now you can use that super meter to either use a super of your own at any time, or more importantly, sometimes is countering their own super meter. So if they're throwing one at you and it's on your side of the court, you can burn your super meter just to bounce the frisbee up into the air to basically give you like 2 seconds to reevaluate where it's coming from and get underneath it and catch it yourself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that is for sure the biggest game changer in this game. Also, the art style is quite a bit different. I really do love the pixelated pixel art of original Windjammers, but this one, it's really tough for me to say it's better, but it's really dang charming because I'm just a sucker for good pixel art.
Totally, it looks great. Yep.
Quick question, then we're gonna wrap this up. Do you know what the price point is on this game?
It is $20.
Okie dokie.
$20, or if you have Game Pass included.
Thank you.
PC and
Thank you for
Xbox.
mentioning that. Thank you
Sold.
for mentioning that.
And sorry about my daughter in my Google Home.
What? Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Oh, okay.
So, all good. So you sold Jonah, Brad. How about you?
Yeah, was sold when I saw the trailer. I love Windjammers, and I want to challenge all three of you to Windjammers too.
Let's just say challenge accepted.
All right, we're gonna put this on pay-per-view, everybody. Jonah versus Brad and Windjammers. Bob with the announcing. You can call the match.
Oh, dude, that would be sick, actually.
Oh God, he's broken that frisbee in half.
Yeah, Bob, you sold me as well. I think this game looks really cool, and your love and appreciation for it really shines through in your pitch. So, great job.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
We do have one more pitch. We might have to make it a quickie, unfortunately, because we are running a little short on time. But I want to get to it. I don't want to skip it because I think it's important. And Mr. Brad Russell is bringing a recent and very popular game to the show. So, Brad, are you ready for your pitch?
Yeah, I don't need long, Wes. Really, I'm pitching Pokemon Legends.
Good, because you only have 2 minutes.
Okay, that's great. Pokemon Legends.
Wait. Let me catch you down here. All right, ready?
Sorry.
You told me to go fast, Wes.
2, I did. I'm sorry. 3, 2, 1, pitch.
Okay, so Pokemon Legends Arceus. Pitching a Pokemon game for the last 5-10 years might be a very difficult thing to do, but this is not a difficult game to pitch. It's got a lot of this stuff. I was actually kind of co-streaming with a friend of the show, Sal. Good last week or the week before, perhaps, and it's like we were kind of saying like it's almost as if like there were two teams there at Pokemon, like one of which made the Diamond and Pearl remakes, and the other of which just kind of listened to what the internet had to say. You know, it's like all the shit that you've been asking for out of Pokemon for a long time. Like, so if you're familiar with the Let's Go games or Pokemon Go, like it's got that mechanic like added to kind of your classic Pokemon game. It's got like a stealth element to it now, where you can, years ago, your Pokemon were in the bush, they were in the grass. Like we're in the past, baby. Like, like man has not dominated the earth the way they have in, recent Pokemon games. Like you're the one in the grass now, bitch. Like these things are roaming the land. These things are throwing their attacks at you, not your Pokemon, you. Like you're the target here, like, so you need to duck behind that tree. You need to dive into that grass. Like these things will mess you up if you don't know what you're doing.
30 seconds.
That being said, thank you. That being said, the game isn't difficult either. I wrapped up the story comfortably in a, maybe a 35-hour, window, and I did a lot of patching and playing around. This game is a ton of fun to play. It's got a lot going for it. Stealth, and if you want to play it like a classic Pokemon game, like go right for it. You can catch them in battles, and 2 minutes is too short.
Great. Yeah, I know. There's a lot to say about this game. That's why we have the follow-up questions. So, you mentioned that the Pokemon are gonna mess you up. How much damage can you take?
There's no like health meter, but like if you take a hit by something, like your screen kind of goes black on the edges and kind of then it turns red, and so there's no, I don't know how to literally quantify that, but if you get hit by something hard enough and then take a fall off the hill, like you're blacking out, so
yeah.
Oh, so you're saying it's like Call of Duty.
Yeah, no, you're
got the Uncharted, the screen going gray and
Uncharted
red. You start hearing your pulse beating.
So I mean, really, the only consequence for a death, so to speak, or blacking out, I think they call it, is you lose a handful of your items and you kind of start right back where so not a whole lot of threat there, but at the same time, kind of a pain in the butt. Like maybe you had a lot of stuff on you that was important, so it can be frustrating, but it's easy enough to dodge these things. But it's an interesting novelty in a Pokemon game to be like I said, like I'm the one creeping around in the grass, like not these things. There's no road really, it's just kind of out there in the wilderness. For Christ's sake, you can control the camera in a Pokemon game now. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of gameplay of this game. So if you're calling out a Pokemon, does it like bring up an attack menu to control the Pokemon, or how does that work?
Okay, so you've got two options. You've got a row of like your Pokeballs, so you can kind of cycle through them. And you're ducked down in the grass, and then you kind of it's almost like a shooter. You bring up your aim and you line up the ball and you throw it.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you tap your X button or whatever, it flips over to your Pokemon. So now I've got all my Pokeballs that contain my party Pokemon lined up at the bottom, and I can throw the same thing at the enemy and engage a battle with it.
Okay.
So I have two choices. I can either go in stealth and try to hit it from behind, or maybe throw some kind of like food at it where it's like kind of distracted, and then I can nail it while it's for a higher catch rate if I, hit it from behind, from cover, before it sees me, while it's distracted, so there's a lot of like factors there. A Pokemon that's a lot stronger than you, like good luck catching it without a fight. You're going to have to beat it down, and and then add to that, there's new alpha Pokemon, which are like twice the size and like really strong and have moves that the normal ones that are kind of running around don't. Like they may surprise you. So it's a lot of fun. It's a good mix between like, do I want to just try to sneak up and grab this thing, or do I want to try to like kind of beat it down in the traditional Pokemon style, maybe put it to sleep and then nail it with a ball that isn't so expensive because you've already got it kind of beaten. So you've got more options than you would in a traditional Pokemon game.
Throwing snacks at me is a good way to catch me as well.
How's the sorry, would anybody like to ask a question? I don't want to cut anybody off,
I just have
I'm trying really hard not to be a smartass.
I have been playing this game and I absolutely adore it. So I'm giving you a real softball of a question to sell it even more so. How does it change up the formula from previous Pokemon games? Is there still an Elite Four and gyms, or does it do unique and new innovative things?
Would you say pokey softball?
Oh.
Yeah, no, he's right there. It like I mentioned in the pitch earlier, this takes place before the establishment of that whole kind of system where there's gyms and there's, an Elite Four. And so, these kind of milestones take form of different access to different regions of the map. So you've got like your kind of totem Pokemon from like a region that you're expected to take down in these battles where you get, like, instead of throwing Pokeballs, you throw these like bean bags at it, right? So it's like a kind of you're doing the same thing as you would pitching a Pokeball, but it's like you're chipping away at this thing, and then you knock it into a state, and then you can engage it with one of your Pokemon while it's kind of down and beat on it, and then it comes back. And so, like, instead of these, like, gym battles where you're just facing, some gym leader with 4 or 5 Pokemon on their belt, you run into these kind of giant creatures that you have to like tame in order to move on to the next region of the game. So that, and and you also do run into trainers that are kind of like, I'm the whatever, I'm the baddest warrior of so and so clan, and I'm challenging you to, and you do have those, but it's not like the same like with the gym system. It's a really fresh, like really stripped down, but still somehow complex. Like the way the Pokédex works is totally different now. Like every single Pokemon has like a list of things that like you can do to complete the dex entry, like catch 10 of the species, or make it kill or make it win a battle with a specific move a number of times, and then you kind of get points toward this. And
That's
like
cool.
your understanding and familiarity with that specific Pokemon like goes up. So it really
Okay.
it incentivizes you to like spend time with a specific Pokemon, or catch a bunch of like different specimens of the specific Pokemon, or ones from like different regions. So there's like a lot of variation in that degree. Like every Pokemon that you can catch in this game is its own like little side quest in itself, so to speak. Like each one of them has, it repeats itself, but each one of them has a little thing where it's like, okay, make it do this or that, or evolve it this or that, or it's cool.
So
It's got new stuff going on, which is neat.
All right, I want to wrap this up really quickly, but I want to give Jonah the opportunity to ask a question if he has one.
So here's me being a smartass. So Brad, you're saying
No, I'm not.
So Brad, you're saying instead of gym battles, you're throwing bean bags at these monsters. So or the Pokemon. So you're basically saying instead of being like a Pokemon trader, you get to be a 8th grade bully.
It's sort of like that, dude. Like, like these things are gigantic. Some of them fill an entire screen.
Hey,
so,
just because he's big doesn't mean he doesn't have feelings.
Fair enough, Jonah, fair enough. But it is a change from the traditional thing. So it's kind of neat. To be honest with you, I wasn't absolutely crazy about them, and didn't have a very difficult time getting through any of them either. It's also very generous. Like if you really aren't feeling those battles with those kind of totem Pokemon, like they give you a really easy out on that. You can die and continue like right back where you started on the health bar. So they're impossible to lose if you're really that bad at it or really hate it. You can kind of even skip it if you want, just kind of get through it. But
Okay.
Cool beans.
One last question from me. Is Golduck in this game?
Yes.
Sold.
Yes, he is.
Sold.
I
did it.
There's an alpha Golduck that's like twice the size.
Oh man.
Oh
god. How have I?
Wait, I didn't know Wes was in this game. An alpha Golduck. Oh.
I tweeted that out.
All right, and we know that Bob was pre-sold on this because he's already told us he's been enjoying
I've
the
loved
game.
this game for days now. It's so good. I'm instantly
Nice.
sold. You did a great job
Yeah.
of explaining it. It's great.
It's
And
really
Jonah?
addictive.
All right. Well, I'm not sold, but I do know this super cool
Aw.
dude who is streaming it, and I'd love to watch him play it. So I think I might do that.
Nice.
All right. Well, 2 out of 3 is not bad, Brad. You did do an excellent job pitching the
Hey,
pitching.
he got a
Pokemon,
viewer
so-
out of it too. So
Hey, that's even better, probably. Honestly,
Fair
like
enough.
the Pokemon Company, they have enough money, right?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
They're doing all right.
Yeah,
they're doing okay.
they'll get by. All right. So that ends our pitch segment, and with that, we will transition over to the game. Normally, this is the portion of the show where Caden says we will send it over to Game Master Wes Bates. So we're sending it over to Game Master Wes Bates. Hey, thanks, Wes. Appreciate that. All right. So today we are going to do something a little bit different. We haven't done this one before, but I thought it would be fun. We're going to play video game Jeopardy. So it's not like Jeopardy in terms of like categories. I don't have the questions in categories. There's no like division of the number of points that you get for answering the question. But the questions are formed in the form of a Jeopardy question, and I expect you to answer in the form of a Jeopardy answer. So I will read the questions. Please allow me to read the question in full. If you think you know the answer, please shout your name, because I am going to be on a different screen and I can't see you. And whoever shouts their name first, I will allow to answer. And I'm not going to deduct points if you get it wrong, so we aren't playing that strictly. And we'll just see how this goes. Any questions before we get going?
No, sir.
Dig
All
it.
right. All right, let's go. Question 1. This mythic blade has appeared in numerous video game series, including, but not limited to, Final Fantasy, Chrono Trigger, Seiken Densetsu, and Castlevania. Brad?
What is Excalibur?
I'm sorry, it's not Excalibur.
Bob,
Go ahead.
I'm probably butchering the name. Masamune?
That is correct.
Okay.
Great
I was
job.
thinking that too.
Oh, Wes
Once
is,
you said Chrono Trigger, that's what.
Wes is gonna bring the JRPG questions, and I'm gonna drown.
No.
Okay.
Don't worry. I think
okay.
you'll be all right.
Okay.
Question
Next
2.
question. This Genesis game.
Yes. All right, question 2. This Hyrule resident is known for his love of rupees, balloons, and his disturbing appearance.
Jonah.
I heard Brad first.
Who is Tingle?
Tingle is correct.
Dang it.
Great job. Question 3. The best way for a Witcher to kill time when not hunting monsters, as long as the deck isn't stacked against him.
Bob.
Yes, Bob.
What is Gwent?
Oh.
Gwent is correct.
Oh,
I was hoping you were gonna drop it. I was like, I got this.
I almost said Gwill.
Gwill? What is Gwill?
What is Buel?
I don't know either.
Oh,
It's a fair
nobody
question.
knows.
I think we have an episode title now. What is Buel?
What is Gwill?
All right. Number 4. If you've got to catch 'em all, you'll most likely catch this one sleeping.
What is Jonah?
Go ahead.
Who is Snorlax?
Correct.
Ooh, nice.
What is Jonah?
I didn't know this was so existential.
Nobody knows.
Nope, I don't even know.
All right, question 5. This video game protagonist may fight an awful lot of zombies, but his biggest nemesis might actually be giant rocks.
Jonah.
Yes,
Who is Chris Redfield?
that's correct.
I was thinking Dead Rising for some reason.
I was thinking Dead Rising at first too.
I was thinking like the nemesis part may have thrown you guys off.
Oh,
Biggest nemesis.
that's a good one. Yep,
Oh my
yep.
god, I love that. That was worded
right.
so well.
Question 6. Would you kindly tell me in which city I can acquire some plasmids?
Bob?
Yes, Bob.
Where is Rapture?
Correct.
BioShock, baby.
Nicely
Excellent.
done, sir.
Question 7. You may need to switch your controller port if you ever hope to beat this classic video game.
Jonah.
Brad,
Oh, dang it.
Oh, I think Brad got it.
I think Brad got it also.
who is Psycho Mantis?
Correct.
One of the best bosses.
That's so funny. I've been talking to a lot of MGS with one of my buddies at work.
So good.
All right. Question 8. Video game sports announcer Tim Kitzrow is well known for his famous catchphrases, like this one. His most famous, shouted when the
Bob?
player makes an amazing... Please wait for me to finish the question.
Oh, sorry. Oh, Jeopardy, of course.
Shouted,
Yes.
shouted when the player makes an amazing, physics-defying slam dunk. Bob, would you like to answer?
Boom Shock. What is Boom Shakalaka?
That's correct.
Ah.
Great job.
I played a heck of a lot of NBA Jam.
Number 9. Good luck scaling this mountain, the titular name of this indie platformer.
Jonah?
Go ahead, Jonah.
What is Celeste?
Correct.
Ooh! I didn't
Nicely
even
done.
play that game.
You haven't even played it.
No.
Oh, I love it. All right. Question 10. Chances are you'll hear a song from punk rock band The Offspring as you careen across the city of this chaotic game.
Jonah,
Yes, Jonah.
what is Crazy Taxi?
Correct.
Nice. Yeah.
Wow, that is a
Very
common phrase in this on the show, because I think that's like the third or fourth time that's been said.
All right. Question 11. When journeying into the land of Lordran, beware of hollowed nightmarish creatures. Oh, and never forget this life-saving beverage.
Bob,
Go ahead, Bob.
what is Estes?
Correct.
Okay.
Nice. I
Yeah.
couldn't remember the name.
Good job. All right. Question 12. If you decide to follow this path west, there's a high possibility somebody will die of dysentery.
Brad,
Go ahead, Brad.
leave it to the old guy. What is the Oregon Trail?
You got it.
Very good.
Excellent.
I live along the
13.
Oregon Trail.
Question 13. If you think this furry sidekick is a joke, you ought to reconsider. He has his own game on the PSP, after all.
Ooh, Bob?
Go ahead, Bob.
Who is Daxter?
Correct.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
I didn't know he had his own spin-off, if I'm being honest. That's why it was a real shot in the dark.
All right. Well, you got it.
Nice,
Nicely
dude.
done.
I'll take it. Take it.
All right. Question 14. Are you the hero or the villain? This force using amnestic has no idea as they roleplay their way through a galaxy far, far away.
Jonah.
Go
Who
ahead.
is Starkiller?
Incorrect.
Oh. I thought that was his name.
Oh, that's,
Any other guesses?
Oh, maybe.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Doot, doot, doot. The answer was Revan.
Oh, I don't.
Oh, is that a KOTOR?
It's KOTOR.
Oh,
Correct.
I thought you were talking about The Force Awakens,
That's what I thought.
or
too.
I mean, The Force Unleashed.
Force Unleashed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I knew it
I
was
don't think
KOTOR,
he
I couldn't
has.
remember the
I don't
name.
believe he has amnesia in that game.
Oh, okay.
So
Fair.
And it's also not a role-playing game.
Oh.
Fair enough. All right. Question 15. Known for his bitter rants and antagonistic lectures and tips, this geriatric video game character went bananas when he kicked off a famous franchise before making way for his grandson to take the mantle?
Brad.
Yes, Brad.
Who is Cranky Kong?
Correct.
Oh,
Nice.
okay.
Canonically
Alright.
the original Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
Yes. Very good.
All right. Last question, number 16. With some of the most stylish headwear in Mortal Kombat's roster, this pugilist's always looking sharp in his hat of choice.
Brad.
Yes, Brad.
Just a guess. Who is Raiden or Raiden?
Incorrect.
Who's got
Bob?
that?
Yes, Bob.
Who is Kung Lao?
That is correct.
Oh,
okay.
Who is Kung
Ah,
Lao?
yeah,
I went
I
the
could-
other guy with the hat. I was gonna go with Raiden too.
Yep, you have to listen for the cues. Always looking sharp in his hat of choice.
I could picture him. I
Very
just
good.
couldn't think of his
Mhm.
name.
All right,
All
well,
those years I
that's
spent
it.
playing
So-
Mortal Kombat 2.
tallying it up, we have Bob with a impressive 7 correct answers,
Oh,
and Jonah and Brad tied with 4 for second.
Dang, dude.
Not bad.
Stealing the
bad.
show.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nicely
Crushing
done.
it.
say.
Good job, dude.
Thank
All
you.
right.
That was great.
So with that brings us to the end of the show. I just want to quickly thank Bob for being here.
Oh, yeah.
So much, and Brad.
Yes.
Thank you guys so
definitely.
much for both of you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Normally at this point we kind of kick it over and give everybody the option of plugging something if they like. Bob, would you like to give something to plug? Maybe your new episode or whatever you like.
Sure. First off, thank you so much for having me. This is an absolute ball. I love this. And Brad was an excellent debater to go against. That was truly so much fun. But yeah, if people would like to check out my show, it's 99 questions, the number 99 questions. You'll find a nice purple and gold logo that I made and made reference to earlier. That is up on all the podcast platforms. There's a whole breadth of really fun interviews in there. Like I said, if you're more interested in like the D&D side of nerddom, we have Brennan Lee Mulligan from Dimension 20, we have Becca Scott, we have Beth May from Dungeons and Daddies, Caldwell Tanner from Not Another D&D Podcast. If you're more interested in like the actor comedy side of things, we have Jeffrey James and Cecily Bro and a couple other comedians, Carolyn Page, which is the newest one. We have people in the gaming industry, Ben Hansen from MinMax, Isla Hink from Easy Allies, Dan Reichert from everything,
Everything.
Mary Kish, Joe Juba, like, it goes on and on. I've been very, very lucky with that. So if people would like to check that out, it's 99 questions. But more important than anything, if you're listening to this show right now, please go to either iTunes or Spotify or wherever and give Great Game Debate 5 stars, rate it, and subscribe
you.
and all that stuff. If you're on YouTube, click whatever. Just click errantly across the entire page. Bells and whistles and whatever you have to click on. It's all going to do everyone a world of good. It takes 10 seconds to leave a review, and it's the most heartening thing in the world for the creators. So please do that.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, thank
I
you so much.
appreciate it.
Yeah, we really appreciate that. I'm gonna jump to Brad. Brad, would you like to plug something?
Hey. No, not necessarily. But, I'm hanging out on Twitter. I'm doing, streams here and there and hanging out on the Discord. Like you can find me, find me. I want to thank you very much for having me again. It's always
Yeah.
a blast on this podcast. I absolutely love doing it with you guys. Bob, very cool to meet you as well. I will definitely be checking out your podcast. It sounds like an absolutely really cool concept. Sounds like you've had a lot of really cool guests. So I'll definitely be checking that out. We're the opponent on the debate too. It sounds like you might have edged me out a bit there. But yeah,
We
cool.
shall
Looking
see.
forward to seeing you around social media too. I'll be following you up and checking out your podcast for sure.
Absolutely.
How about your Twitch channel, Brad? Where can people find you on Twitch?
Twitch.tv/Tukes, TOUKZ. Same on Twitter, same everywhere on the planet.
Yeah, check out his Pokemon streams. A lot of fun. Jonah, any housekeeping? Wait.
We got breaking news.
I'm sorry. I would be remiss then. I completely forgot to mention. I know Wes did at the beginning of the show, but what I have been doing lately is our Let's Play with Wes here at the Great Game Debate. So
absolutely.
So check that out over at Great Game Debates YouTube.
For sure. Thank you so
Sorry
much.
about that.
All good.
I knew I had something going on. Thank you.
All right, Jonah.
We just got done with our Halo Infinite game club. Thank you for everyone that showed up. It was awesome to just like mostly listen to Joey Sisko break down all of the Halo lore. That awesome. Dude's awesome. We love you, Joey. We will be having our next game club in April, right, Wes?
Yes, April. On Chicory.
A colorful tale.
I may join you for that.
Oh yeah,
please do. That would be great.
The nice thing about that game is it's on everything, is it not?
It's on a lot of things. It's on Switch, it's on PS4, it's on PC. I don't know if it's on Xbox yet. Maybe.
I'm sure it is.
I'm sure it's on Game Pass. But yeah, go ahead, play that. You've got 2 months to play the game, and then join us on a Sunday. We'll be doing a discussion on it, and come hang out with some awesome people. And I was floored with this episode. This was a super fun episode. Super glad to have Bob on, and for a little sneak preview, our next episode's gonna be a little different.
All right.
Ooh.
Okay,
I can't wait for that. What could that possibly mean? I have no idea. Anyway, all right, Jonah, thank you very much. I just want to give a shout out also to Bob's podcast. This is a podcast that is not only enjoyed by me personally, but also by my family. I mentioned this to Bob earlier. If you are looking for like a singular episode that will just make you like laugh till you're almost in tears, Bob interviewed Alexa, the AI. He went through the whole thing, and interviewed Amazon's Alexa, and it is
amazing.
Comedy gold. My kids absolutely love it.
I did that.
They absolutely love it. So if you want, just like, if you need to pick me up, you need to listen to something funny, go check out the Alexa episode of 99 Questions. It is absolutely wonderful.
Dude, that is brilliant.
It is. It was a brilliant idea, and
oh my God.
And we all love you for it, Bob. So
well, I forgot that. Yeah, thank you. Just thank you. That rules. I just forgot about that entirely.
It's so great. It's so great.
How cool.
All right. So, as Bob mentioned, if you are listening, if you could leave us a review, that would be great. If you're watching us on YouTube, click that subscribe button. We'd appreciate it. If you are listening for the first time on your podcast choice or podcast app of choice, please give us a subscribe there as well. We would really, really appreciate it. And until next time, thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, Wes.
All right. Are we all ready to go?
I'm good
for
to
the
go.
Really big shoe. The really big shoe.
Really big.
Rockstar is down.
Nice.
But this Rockstar is still rolling.
All right. Get it out of your systems now, please. Jonah. Yeah, exactly. Jonah, are you cool to do the first pitch?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah, that's gonna be
recover.
That's
from that
gonna
line.
that's gonna be our end credit scene.
That's the Skeletor after the credits.
God, I hate myself. All right, let's go.